Hi, hello. I don't even remember my intro, it's been so long. Let me try. Hey guys, welcome back to the Girl Gone London channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylin. I'm a dual UK and American citizen. And in today's video, I am telling you where I've been, what you were right about, and what to expect for the future. As always, apologizing for the lighting in my videos. Every single light in this house is on right now. It's just really dark outside because it's the end of November and this is what we're working with right now. This is also going to be an unedited, honest video because I have spent, I think it's been a couple months now, and normally I wouldn't make this type of video because it's like, nobody really cares where you've been on YouTube. They just stop watching you. But a lot of you have been commenting on old videos being like, where are you? Are you ever coming back to YouTube? And I thought, you know what? It's time to sit down, film an explanation, and just have a chat because it has been a while. So some backstory is this channel started in the pandemic, I believe December of 2020. Now in the UK, we were full on, like Christmas was canceled that year. Basically still full on lockdown. And it was something that I did in my house during the pandemic. Then the pandemic became, lots of different things, different lockdowns, different levels. And I kept doing YouTube because I enjoyed doing YouTube. However, I still had a lot of time, namely because I didn't have any friends or a life. And so that was easy because I was always in my house and I can just shoot videos. And so that continued on for a while. Then I took you all briefly to America with me last year when I was there for 4 months. Did some videos from there, showed you like New York at Christmas, and then we came back to the UK again where I started to do videos again based on UK versus American topics. That leads me to this summer of 2022. I decided that it was finally time to get out in the world post-pandemic, post having worked in London for 5 years, commuting 4 hours at least round trip each day. It didn't give me much time for activities or friends or really any sort of life besides Googling on my phone like 27 years old and hate my life. It was not a good time. So I decided this summer that was all going to change because I don't know the future of my life and whether it's entirely going to be based in the UK or the US or split or whatever it is, but the UK has been my home for 10 years, and so it was finally time to start enjoying it. Now that brings me to something that you guys were mostly right about, and this is really a little bit hard to admit on the internet. I don't know how many people are going to watch this video. Hopefully it's like 10 of you. But back in the day, I used to get comments on my videos saying like, if you hate the UK so much, why don't you go home? Why don't you go back to the US? I wanted to respond to those comments saying like, I wish I could. I wish I could go back to America. Not because I thought that America was like way better than the UK, but I felt that my life in the UK was nothing like my life in America had been. And my life in the UK was filled with a lot of difficulties. It was filled with years upon years upon years of really stressful visa applications. It was filled with constantly feeling like I was doing what everybody else wanted me to do instead of what I actually wanted to do. It was a place where I felt like I had found it really hard to make friends because in the US, I had my lifelong friends, and then I moved to the UK and I just didn't put the energy in or the effort in that I should have to make friends. So I would get these comments and I would respond on video and say, I don't dislike the UK, here are all the things I love about the UK, but deep down, I was very unhappy in the UK, and I will admit that. I would be on the train into London in like the depths of winter, just crying, trying not to let people see me cry, about how much I just felt so stuck in my life. So this continued on throughout the pandemic. And I think I did a video about seasonal depression and how that can and did impact me in the UK. So imagine you're unhappy in your life. You grew up in Florida, which is basically a tropical sunshine paradise in the winter. And then you move to the UK and you realize that there's very little sunlight in the winter. And you're like, this just all sucks. So where was I? So basically this is a confession that I think some of you probably picked up on, is I had resentment towards the UK. Not to any of you lovely people, I didn't logically think that the UK was worse than America. It was just that my personal happiness in the UK never ever got to a point after I first moved here that made me feel like I was actually excited to be living my life. So anyway, I post these videos and you all would say, why do you hate the UK so much? And I would say, I don't hate the UK. I've made tons of videos about how much I love the UK. And I finally got to this summer and I thought to myself, like, I can't go on like this. The UK isn't going to change. It would be the same if I lived in America. There's a lot wrong with America. I always put that in my disclaimers. I know this. Wherever you are, you can't change your surroundings. In the sense that I can't change the weather in the UK, can I? I can't change certain cultural things that I find different from the US. I can't really change that stuff. But I can change my situation and I can change myself and I can change what I do with my time and with my life and who I surround myself with, which was basically no one. And so I started driving again. So I did used to drive in the UK, then I didn't because I was going into London every day for like 5 years and I had no friends to go and see that I needed to drive to, so I just didn't drive. Now I completely work for myself. I don't work in London anymore. And I thought to myself, the first thing is I don't live in London. I know, plot twist, because this is Girl Gone London. I live a little bit outside of London. And I thought to myself, it is time to face my fears of driving on the roads in the UK, figuring out roundabouts, driving on the other side. So I ended up getting a car in April or May and started practicing over the summer. At the same time, I started getting more involved in things that were happening. So I took up old hobbies, some sports. I got involved in different things related to my work. So different meetups with people who do the same kind of job as me, which again is not YouTube, but it is my website. And I put myself out there. And all of a sudden, it was like my entire life changed in the course of a couple months. And suddenly I was making friends and I was making plans and I wasn't home all the time feeling sorry for myself and feeling sorry about my life. I was going out and I was finding what was so good about the UK. Even though I had lived here for 10 years, I hadn't really found my people. I have found tons of people that are more of a couple friends with my husband or friends of his, or things that we do together. I have had a good support system in that sense, but I never had anything of my own. And finding stuff of my own, getting in my car, driving to see my friends, gave me back this kind of independence that I think everybody needs, but especially if I'm a citizen now, but if you live in a foreign country, especially if you are in a relationship with somebody from that country, it's incredibly easy to just feel like you're constantly a part of their life. So I'm constantly a part of his stuff and his childhood friends and his family and things that he's comfortable with, and yet I didn't really have anything that was mine. So the more I started to do this, the more confident I got doing other things on my own. And that's kind of led me to why I haven't necessarily been on YouTube. It's not because I don't like making YouTube videos or dealing with the hate comments. Just kidding. Most of you don't leave hate comments. It's because I was actually and am actually living a real fulfilling, happy life in the UK. And I hope that you'll appreciate this honesty, because I know that most of you I think are from the UK watching, and I think it can be really difficult for me or other people who move here. Again, I moved here on my own accord, but then met my husband and it just made sense to stay here in the UK. But I don't think people realize how complicated it can be emotionally to live in a different country. And you do feel like it's not your place to move somewhere and then to say that you're unhappy there, especially if you know that it's probably your own fault that you're unhappy there. But I think often people have a very black and white view. And so I would hope that if you see somebody else in the situation, or maybe you feel like they aren't happy in whatever country you live in, like, reach out, dig in a little bit, see what the situation is. Maybe they just need a friend. Maybe they're very lonely and they don't know how to make friends in a new culture. I know that, making friends as an adult is hard anyway, but making friends in different cultures is different. The way that I make friends as an American is actually different from typically how people would make friends here in the UK, in terms of like the level of openness in the beginning, or how long it takes to make friends, or things that you might invite them to do. And you have to navigate all of this, and it can just be a lot. So yes, I am starting to ramble now, but I think my point is, I don't know what the comments on this video are going to be. But I would hope that you can see the nuance in everybody is just a person, and not necessarily defined as like an American citizen or a UK citizen or an expat or this or that. And it can be, even if you want to be in that country, it can be incredibly difficult to go through hard things and feel like your entire support system is back in another country, or you just found things easier there. So that's essentially what happened to me. And then I was like, well, even if we do move to America, we will at some point be spending time in the UK, because my husband's family is all here and we've spent 10 years like building a life here. So I couldn't continue to be unhappy with my life in the UK. So I did take a lot of steps to change it. And I hope that if you are an expat watching this, that the honesty helps you a little bit, because I can tell you it's taken me a long time. But once I finally figured out that I had to change myself in terms of putting myself out there, trying to make friends, getting involved in stuff, and ignoring the people and things that I didn't necessarily get along with or want to be a part of in the UK, suddenly my world here was so much better. And that's where I've been. I've been creating that offline, and I don't want to... I mean, I am American, so like if I cried right now, you probably wouldn't be surprised, but don't worry, my emotions have been dulled down through years of the stiff upper lip. But I have to say, it's been one of the most life-changing things like in my adult life to realize and to be in the exact same situation. I live in the same place that I did like 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. The weather is the same. It's getting dark at like 3:30 or 4 p.m. in November. So my surroundings are the same. I live in the same country. And yet my decisions of how I wanted to spend my time and like kind of conquer some of my fears means that I feel entirely different about it. And I feel a lot better, and I feel like I genuinely can see what I did and do love about the UK now. I needed some time to find it. So, that is really what I wanted to make this video about. I hope it sort of made sense. Like I said, I don't even know if I'm in focus right now. This is really just gonna be like me sitting down. Also, I'm very red, but I think that's my camera. I'm not that red in real life right now. But yeah, so I appreciate you watching this if you've watched to the end. I hope to be back on YouTube more regularly. I do like UK versus American videos. I do like the content that I've been creating. It is getting so dark. The lights, I swear to you, all the lights are on right now. But yeah, I've been doing some offline soul searching, and I'm very happy to say that I'm in an entirely different place than I was when I started this channel. And I appreciate those of you who have had kind words through it, and those of you who leave kind comments below. I would genuinely love to hear what you've been up to. It has been a couple months, I think, since I posted. And yeah, the channel, it's important to me, and it's important for me to kind of continue this community and continue the videos, but it was more important for the past couple of months that I really could be the person that I wanted to be in the UK instead of really trying desperately to be that person, but still not being entirely happy. I feel like now I can be 100% honest, 100% truthful in saying that I do love the UK. I do love a lot of things about the UK. I will leave you with that. Comment down below. Let me know what you've been up to. I will see you on YouTube soon. Thank you very much for watching this update video, and I promise you, I will see you next time.